Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another video. So it is currently 5:30 in the morning, and we are both up. Why? Because we're getting ready to head down to the buses to head over to Island of Adventure. Why? Let's tell y'all about it. Okay, so we've got a really big goal today, and that is to ride Hagrid's. So early park admission starts at 7. Yesterday when we were over in studios, they let us in at 6:30. So we want to make sure that we are over at Islands of Adventures plenty early, just in case they do end up letting us early over there. So then I am going to come back to the room. We are kind of taking today as a rest day, but we early park admission, the early one is because typically the parks open at 9 and early park admission is at like 8. But right now early park admission is at 7. So we're taking advantage of that for the last couple of days that they're doing the super early park admission, but because it'll end in a couple of days. So we want to make sure that we get the things done that we want to do, because typically it's going to be at one park or the other, not both. They are doing both right now because of the holidays. So we are going to ride Hagrid's. And then Sam is going to jump in line to ride the Velocicoaster, and I'm coming back because we are using today as kind of a chill out, relax day. We might do like some walking around, give you guys do some resort tour, that kind of thing. But other than that, we're going to chill out a little bit today. We've had Sunday, which was travel day, Monday all day at the parks, yesterday a majority of the day at the parks with a little break, and so I think today a little parks and a lot of break. So we'll see you guys over at the parks. Okay, so I know at this point you're going, okay, does this chick even know what she's doing? Does she even know how to vlog? Yes, I know what I'm doing 90% of the time. Today just did not go how I originally planned. So Sam and I, the day started off not great. I highly recommend, if you're going to Universal, don't wear sandals or flip-flops. They wet down all of the concrete at the beginning of the day. That includes bridges and things, and it gets really slick. And I wasn't thinking. I did this not yesterday, so Monday. And I knew better. And I'm like, we're gonna be rushing to Harry Potter. I know. It was on me. I know. Okay, so we get through, and I will tell you, like, people, I have noticed that there are two types of people. There are, I must ride it before everyone else, and we'll get there when we get there. Sam and I are, we will get there when we get there people. But there are some of those people who just, they have to like push and shove in front of everybody. So I was almost knocked over several times, trying to get to Hagrid's this morning. So we get to Hagrid's, we get in line, we get to the motorbikes. This is where the day started not going so great. I told Sam I did not feel comfortable on the bike. I wanted to ride the motor car because it's kind of enclosed. Well, the motorbike sidecar is not plus size friendly, apparently. So like I pulled it down and it clicked, and the guy goes, well, you need to pull it down one more click. I'm like, I can't, I physically can't. My arms, I'm like, can my husband, he's like, no, you have to do it. I'm like, well, then I can't. So he unlocked, he goes, well, you're gonna have to get off, go up to the door and talk to the other person. I'm like, okay, maybe they have a bigger cart. I don't know. So they sent us back to the test seat, and they had me try the test, like the seat again there, and it didn't go to green. So I'm a little annoyed. Actually, let's scratch that. I'm a lot annoyed. And they're like, well, why don't you try the bike? And so I did, and it went to green, and they're like, well, do you want to ride on the bike? I'm like, no, I don't feel safe. Even though I know that it's safe, like mentally, my brain is like screaming at me, this is not safe, you're going to fall off. And this cast member who was working at the test seat was really nice. The cast member or team member who was dealing with the like loading wasn't so nice. And I mean, I get it. It's early in the morning. They've been up for hours. And I know that this has been, like, there's a lot of people coming through. But this is, like, he kind of looked at me and, that way, if you're plus size, this look. It's that look of, if you lost a little bit of weight, then you could fit look. Yeah, that's the look that he gave me. Guarantee when you're in your 30s, you're not going to be the size of a twig. Just saying. So, the girl at the test seat was really nice and gave us one for each of us, one-time use express pass. So I'm annoyed, and I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom. So I'm like, let's go to the bathroom and let's go get you on Velocicoaster. I'm thinking I just need like a minute to process. So we went to the restroom and headed off back to ride for Sam to be able to get onto Velocicoaster because it was still just a 25-minute wait at that point. They did let us in early again, so they did open the gates at 6:30. So I highly recommend at least being to the park with early park admission at least a half an hour early, if not a little earlier, because they may open it early and let you in. And like even before the official early park admission starts, you may have something done. So we went to Velocicoaster, and I got some really cool video footage and photos of the area from where I was standing of Velocicoaster, and I got to see the sunrise over Hulk, and I got a couple pictures of that. So I'll insert those right here. So here's where I figured out why I didn't fit in the sidecar. I told Sam we were headed to go figure out what we wanted to do for breakfast because we were both hungry, and Sam's like, man, you're kind of grumpy this morning. You need some food. And I'm like, no. And we go to the bathroom, and I realize why I'm grumpy, and I'm not feeling right. Yeah, that's right. My great aunt kind of showed up today. So I know some of you guys might say, oh, Lena, we didn't need to know that. Well, it fits into why I was grumpy, okay? Just go with it. So I came out and kind of told Sam what was going on. So at 7 o'clock in the morning, we're coming back to the resort so I can kind of get situated. And Sam's like, do you want to go back to the resort? Do you want to go back to the park? Do you want to hang out here? I'm like, no, let's go. So we went back to the park, and Sam's like, so what do you want to use the express on? And when I have been here in November, and I had express pass when I stayed at the Hard Rock, one of the things that I rode was Despicable Me Minion Mayhem, and we had been wanting to ride it, but the queue fills up so quick. I told us, I go, can we use it on and ride Despicable Me? Because it's one of the things I really wanted to do today. And Sam's like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And Sam had never experienced the Express Pass. He was kind of thinking, okay, it's kind of like a Fast Pass where you're still going to like wait an hour. Express Pass at Universal, it's typically at least a half to a quarter of the posted wait time, but we were through fairly quickly, and I kind of looked at Sam and he's like, whoa, that's pretty cool. So we rode Despicable Me Minion Mayhem, and we got to take a picture with the Minion, which of course will be part of the photos at the end. Once we left there, because Sam had asked me, do you want to eat first or do you want to ride Despicable Me first? I said, you want to, there's a lot of moving and jerking. You kind of want to eat after. So Sam kind of was like, okay, you've been on this before. He kind of was like, okay, I'll take your lead on that. And we got off and he's like, yeah, I'm glad you said let's eat after. So we decided to eat breakfast at Today Cafe. And yeah, we ate there yesterday, but we ate there for lunch. So it's different meals, different menu. Sam had I had the egg white Florentine sandwich on ciabatta, and Sam had the ham, egg, and cheese on ciabatta. And we were thinking like the little small square ciabatta, like you would get maybe at like Starbucks. This was a full size like sandwich, so like think 2 of those put together. So Sam had messaged me because we saw a table. We saw a table was empty. I didn't really know what I wanted yet. Sam did. So he's like, I'll sit at a table. Here's what I want. And I'll save the table. I said, okay. And I ordered, and he messaged me. He's like, I'm still hungry. Does the overnight oats have blueberries in it? And I saw that it did, because they had it kind of in a cold case. And I asked, I said, is there any way to get overnight oats without blueberries? And they said, no, unfortunately not. I said, okay. So I got Sam the mushroom and leek quiche platter instead, which was the mushroom and leek quiche plus a bowl of fruit. And each of our sandwiches came with a bowl of fruit as well. And Sam then messaged me and goes, hey, why don't you add a caramel iced coffee for me and then get you something. So we ended up getting the egg white Florentine sandwich, the ham, cheese and egg sandwich, the mushroom and leek quiche, each of those with a bowl of fruit, and a hazelnut iced coffee and a caramel iced coffee. And we just sat there outside of the Today Cafe. We're in the seating area and just ate our breakfast and really just enjoyed just kind of just being, and it was really low key, and we really just sat and enjoyed ourselves. And what I will do is I will actually just insert the Minion photo and the photos of our food right here. From there, Sam asked what I wanted to do, and I said, well, I looked at the app and saw that the Race to New York with Jimmy Fallon had a 10-minute wait, which is pretty much a walk-on. And so we headed over from Today Cafe over there, and lo and behold, out by the train in the DeLorean was Doc Brown. So we got to see Doc Brown and from Back to the Future, and Sam was really excited. We had seen Doc Brown on our first trip in 2018, and Sam was really excited to be able to see him again. So once we took pictures with Doc Brown, we continued on, and by the time we got to Race Through New York, the wait time had went up a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. And the really nice thing about the wait time for Race Through New York is once you get through the queue and you are waiting for your color, because if you've never ridden it or you've never been, they give you a color, and there's like 6 colors, and they make up the NBC logo because it's on NBC. And when the light turns your color, that's when you get to go ride. So we were kind of hanging out, and I took pictures of some of the displays that they have in there that's showing the progression of TV and the hosts of the Tonight Show. And so I got some of them on this first time we went through Jimmy Fallon, and I'll just insert those right here. So from there, we really just didn't have a plan for today. It was really, and I think that's why I think Universal for us is so different than Disney, because with Disney, it seems like you really have to have a plan. You have to know, okay, I want to go to this ride and this ride and this ride and this ride and this ride, and here's back when there was free Fast Pass, I had Fast Pass for this and this and this, and we have a dining reservation here, and it's just not that way for us at Universal. It's very, very much very low key. It's not. It seems like it's nothing to just wander around Universal. So we decided to go check out the horror makeup show again. We really enjoyed it yesterday, and the one of the host was like, "Oh yeah, and you saw Beetlejuice outside," and Sam and I kind of sighed at each other like, "Excuse me, Beetlejuice was outside." So we. When we came out through, we kind of were hanging out by Mel's Diner, by the horror show, going, is Beetlejuice coming back out? So we were actually doing something else, and we were walking back up. I think we were looking for a place to recharge our Coke Freestyle mug, and I happened to look over, and I go, Sam, there's a line at the side of the horror movie makeup show, and lo and behold, it was Beetlejuice. And so yesterday, the team members would take a photo with your phone, and today they're like, sorry, we can't do that. So, and it may be based on team member, it may be new protocol that went into place overnight, it may be kind of at their discretion, we weren't sure, no big deal. So we got a selfie, and then Beetlejuice kind of started hamming it up for the camera, and so I did some video, and I'll go ahead and leave the audio in. I'll kind of mute it a little bit though, because he was talking to me. He's saying, call me, or maybe not. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it too much over, because just like right as I was recording, one of their version of Cavalcades was coming out like literally right here. So the music was really loud for that. So those pictures will be right here.
Call me mom. I mean, don't call me mom. You call me.
So after we saw Beetlejuice, we continued to wander around, and we saw Hello Kitty up by her store, which is across from the Today Cafe. And at that point, we were both kind of starting to get munchy. And so there had been right across from Mel's is the La Bamba Cafe, and there's like a little snack cart outside of it, and it had jalapeno and cheese stuffed pretzels. Okay, Lena's on board with that. So we were standing in line. We watched the Marilyn and the Jingle Bellas instead of Diamond Bellas show, and two people ahead of us, like all of a sudden we kind of noticed that they were arguing with the cashier, and she was like, no, I didn't charge you for the beer. I need to charge you. And the lady's like, yeah, you did. That was one of the first things you did. She's like, well, where's your receipt to prove that? And she goes, well, you never handed it to me. So she went back. She's like, well, you need to pay for that beer. So they went ahead and paid for it, and she's like, and I'll call for a manager. So they went ahead and paid for it again, and lo and behold, the manager came up and retrieved that other receipt. It was the very first thing that had been charged for. So Sam and I kind of looked at each other and were like, let's skip the pretzel today. So we were like, oh, what do we want? And one of the things that I try to eat if I eat it early is ice cream. And there is Schwab's Pharmacy, which is an ice cream counter, right, kind of right there in like the old Hollywood section, right next to the annual pass holder lounge. And I said, well, if it's too busy inside, we can always get our ice cream and go next door to the lounge and sit there in the air conditioning and eat, enjoy our ice cream and relax. So we went in and stood in line, and a couple people were just in line to get some water, and they used like the cups like you would get wrapped up in a hotel room, like it's about that size. They got like, so we were like through really quick, and I ended up getting a banana split with Rocky Road vanilla and peppermint bark. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And the ice cream is from Haagen-Dazs, and so I gained 10 pounds eating that. Sam got just a 2-scoop vanilla sundae because they were out of the brownie to make the brownie sundae, whatever it was. And Sam ate some of my peppermint bark ice cream too, because that's what he had wanted, a peppermint bark ice cream on the brownie. So he was kind of disappointed. But he said his was really good, and he finished his, and I ate about maybe 2/3 of mine. Like, it's not little scoops of ice cream. The scoops of ice cream are like the size of your head. So we ate that, and I'll insert pictures of us of Hello Kitty and our ice cream right here. What I figured was just to kind of help break it up a little bit and not give you like a 3-5 minute video of just photos at the end. Figured I'd just break it up for you. I know you guys won't mind too much. I mean, you're already watching me film this in our room again. So we left the Schwab's Pharmacy, and we're walking around just kind of deciding what to do, like just enjoying, just kind of being around and just kind of enjoying what was going on. And lo and behold, Betty Boop was out. If you don't know Betty Boop, she is an older cartoon character, and she goes boop boopy doop boop. And she actually is one of my dad's favorite characters. And so we got a picture with her, and she actually filmed a little video for me, saying happy birthday to my dad. So I'm going to save that and give that to Dad in June. From there, Sam asked what I wanted to do, and I said, I'd really like to ride Jimmy Fallon again. So we went back to Jimmy Fallon for the second time, and we went through the queue, and we sat in front of these girls, and oh my gosh, they screamed the whole time. It was so funny, because if you've never ridden, it's kind of like it moves and twists, and it's in 3D, and it was like, they were maybe like older elementary, middle school age. It was so funny to listen to them scream at the different points. It totally made the experience. After we left Jimmy Fallon, we saw Alex the lion from Madagascar was just leaving, so I managed to snap a quick picture of him. And I was very bummed. I was like, man, I had missed the snowman from the parade earlier, and I missed Alex the lion. I was feeling kind of bummed. So Sam and I were going up to the front to check to see if maybe the snowmen were back out. And we ran across Fred, Shaggy, and Scooby from the Mystery Inc. So we got a picture with them. And the snowmen weren't out, but one of the attendants that was kind of working that area was like, well, they should be back at 3:30, 3:45 time frame. So we kind of wandered around. We looked in the stores, and we kind of sat and waited to see if they would come out. Nothing at 3:30. Nothing at 3:45. Nothing at 3:40. And by this point, as you can tell, I am red. I am slightly burnt. And I was feeling really tired. really hot, and really just kind of, I'm done. Stomach's not feeling so great. So we Sam has a hockey game that he wanted to watch tonight. So we went to NBC Grill and Bar. 2 hour wait for two people. We're like, nope. So Sam's like, well, why don't we go do Mexican? And I'm like, I don't know. I really don't want to. He's like, they have tableside guac. I don't know. It's like, come on, you like tableside guac. Okay. So we walked over to Anarjitos, and I know I mispronounced that. I'm really sorry. And it's just pretty much right all the way across from NBC Grill, kind of tucked into a back corner. If you don't look for it, you don't see it. So we said, how long will it be for a seating for two? And they're like, oh, we can seat you instantly. Phenomenal. So we got seated, and they're like, what would you like to drink? And we said, oh, we're just going to have water. One, we were really, really thirsty. So they took our order, and we got tableside guac, and I will insert a clip of them making it right here. Yes, I did speed it up. Otherwise, it was 5 minutes of watching them make guac. But here is what I had left over. Here's an up close and personal look at my guacamole. It's that good you can eat it with a fork. So Sam got the beef fajitas and I got the chicken fajitas. And it does not come with sides. Like if you go to other Mexican restaurants, it may come with your side of rice and your beans. It does not at this restaurant. It is an additional cost. So Sam got black beans and rice, and he said that it wasn't his favorite. It was okay, just not spectacular. But the meat is the star of these. Oh my gosh, it is tequila marinated beef, and it's so good. Sam let me have a bite. And then I got the chicken fajitas, and I asked for no peppers with mine, so mine is chicken and onions. And I spread guacamole on my tortilla. So after that, we headed through City Walk. We did make a stop at the Universal Legacy store, popped in around there for a few minutes, and went through City Walk, back to the bus, and back to the resort. So I stayed in the lobby, and I got some hot tea from Starbucks, and I also popped over to one of the check-in counters. I typically bring something home for my students from the resorts when I'm there. Last time I took back autograph cards from Garden Grill and some stickers, and this time I got some pins that say Endless Summer Resort. So thank you to the staff at Endless Summer for providing those for my students. My students always love that I remember them when I'm on my trips, and it's not something much, but it's something that they get, that I get to give to them. And so that brings us to now. Sam has went over to Walgreens, because at Walgreens is literally a 5-minute walk from here. And I know I talked about this in day one, and I haven't talked about it since. Literally, Walgreens is a 5-minute walk from Endless Summer Resorts. So if you, I'm prone to getting sick on vacation. You guys have known that since day one. Typically, I get some sort of cold, one time, the first time we went to Disney in 2014, I came home with bronchitis. I started out with a cold, and it kind of progressed into this cough that you guys have heard kind of through the videos. So Sam's like, maybe you need some Mucinex because obviously the NyQuil isn't doing much. So Sam ran over to get some Mucinex and some chapstick because, again, my packing was. I can't take all the blame for this. My packing was atrocious on this trip, and we have spent some money on buying things that we really didn't need to because they're sitting at our house. Anyway, I mean, I think it happens to all of us. Best laid plans and stuff, right? So, Sam's picking up a few things over at Walgreens. His hockey game is on. He's got the ESPN Plus app, and he's going to watch it. And when Sam came up to the room before me. I know, backtracking to when we go back to the room. So I got all kind of freshened up and cleaned up, and so now I'm actually hungry, which Sam knew I would be when I said I wasn't hungry at the Mexican restaurant. So I actually brought home a majority of my dinner, and I will sit and eat it and watch something on TV. Anyway, Walgreens. I know, sorry. Really spastic, like 2 minutes. Walgreens is literally a 5-minute walk from the Endless Summer Resorts. Right next to it is like a KFC, and there's some other like chain restaurants down from there. Sam said. So there's like if you go down to the right and take a left, Walgreens is on the corner. If you take a right, there's like an IHOP and other stuff down there. So if you're going, I don't want to spend a ton of money on theme park food. I don't want the kids to just eat a bagel and cream cheese in the theme parks and spend $7 on that. An option always is to stay at a lower value resort and go eat somewhere that's a chain restaurant and then go do the theme parks, especially if you're going at a time that's not super busy and you're not like fighting thousands of other people to ride the rides. And I will have to say Island of Adventures gets busy a lot faster than Studios, but that's where the two newest rides are. Excuse me. Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure and Velocicoaster are both in Island of Adventure. And Sam and I kind of talked about this earlier, and Island of Adventure just doesn't hold a lot of appeal for us. Maybe we're doing it wrong, but it doesn't seem like there's a ton for us to do over there. Sam isn't into Marvel too much. He really is more of a DC guy. The ride, like, we're just not into, so the comic stuff, for the older comic stuff, really, there's not a lot involved in it. It's just like little places to take your photo. We more like the Hollywood studio side. That's where Sam and I pretty much play all day. We may pop over to Island of Adventure for something. Like, I know Sam wants to ride Velocicoaster again. He may ride Hulk. We've got several other days left of our vacation. This is only like day 3. So I don't know. I totally lost track of where I was going with all this. I'm sorry. So I do apologize for the, if you feel like, wow, Lena really isn't vlogging. She's just talking when she's back in her room and all she's doing is taking pictures. But I want you guys to know I really am enjoying our vacation. Sam and I are really enjoying the time that we're spending together. So I hope that makes up to it a little bit. You can't see me, but I'm sitting here like a little kid swinging my foot off the edge of the bed. See? Cute? Anyway. So the plan for the rest of the evening is I'm going to finish my dinner. Sam's on his way back, and he's going to hopefully be able to watch his hockey game tomorrow. I'm very excited. Tomorrow's an official break day. Tomorrow we actually have a rental car booked. We are going to head over to the Walmart over on Turkey Creek Lane, Turkey Creek Road, whatever it is over there, and do some exploring of their area where you can buy souvenirs and stuff, and that will be its own video, I promise, because there's a lot there. Then we plan to head over to Disney Springs And then tomorrow night we are going to Night of a Million Lights at Give Kids the World Village. If you don't know what Give Kids World Village is, I will make sure to link their website in the description below. But the gist of it is this is where Wish Trip kids go and get to stay for a week when they want to do Disney or Universal or SeaWorld, or their wishes they want to be a dolphin veterinarian or something. And this is where they stay. And it's such an amazing location. And they did this last year. Somebody said this is where a lot of the Osborne lights were donated to, was Give Kids World Village. And because they didn't have any kids there last year, they did this called Night of a Million Lights. And obviously there's a ton more lights than a million. They're in different businesses and corporations sponsor displays. And it's just amazing. And Sam and I actually purchased a VIP tour, so we were really excited about that. And here's the thing. I'm not going to video the whole tour. I'm going to probably video some, and you'll get some us talking about it, and you'll get photos. Because here's the thing. It is listed as one of the top 10 things to do in Orlando at the holidays. And if you are coming to Orlando during the holidays, make sure to keep up with them on Give Kids World on Facebook and on their website. And those will both, like I said, be linked in the description. If you are coming in and they're continuing to do it, which I don't see why they did, it's a great fundraiser, you will want to attend. And we want you guys to attend and see it all for yourself. So I will catch up with you guys later. I'm going to finish eating, wait on Sam, and next time you see me, probably will be in jammies.